So then, I got older, I'm getting in my 20s, and I met this band called The Rise, and I would haul their gear into nightclubs. And then the guy taught me how to tune a guitar, bass guitar, and then I would tour with them. And so I never couldn't get a real gig. Couldn't get a job that mattered. Right?
Yeah.
And my family was pretty broken up. I had my mother's on her third divorce, and I was living on and off out of people's back bedrooms, and lived in a Tenderloin for a little while in this one-bedroom apartment with like 3 other people that were door passers. It was very exciting.
Back when the Tenderloin was like super seedy.
It was the worst. So we're touring, and I'm like, we're on the road for a month, and I come back. So I got a job at City Nights, which is on Harrison.
I remember that club.
Yep, City Nights.
Yeah.
But
that was an underage club too, right?
No, that was City Nights you could be 18 and 21. So one of our main jobs was making sure that people without stamps weren't drinking.
I remember because when it was underage, when it was like 18 and over basically.
Yeah.
But we couldn't drink. We used to come down from San Jose to go to City Nights.
Yeah. And right. Club X, which was that.
Club X, yeah.
Club X around the corner, and Trocadaro. So that was the same management ran those 3 clubs. And so I would go between those 3 clubs on the weekends. I'd be the doorman at the Trocadero, which would have Bon Go.
Okay, yeah.
And then they do that one there, and those were that was just a lot of dragging drunk people out in the street. There were a lot of the place had a lot more action than most nightclubs in San Francisco.
And our friend who should be named, he worked at that club too, right?
I worked at Trocadero.
So it wasn't like
oh yeah, a bunch of you guys worked at Trocadero, right?
Yeah. So what's the craziest fight you saw at Trocadero? Or any of those?
At Trocadero, I had a guy. He was talking to a girl, and she didn't want to talk to him, so she turned her back to him, and he spit on her back. And there was like 3 of us standing right there, and I'm like, fucking get that fucking guy, get him out right now. And like, they fucking grabbed him, and we grabbed him, and we're dragging him down to there's like we were like on an upstairs area, and we went down the stairs and toured the door, and as I pushed him out the door, he turned around and pepper sprayed all 3 of us right in the face.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he didn't get back in the club, but then he was one of those idiots. There's because then we leaned in on him a little bit, and there are the 2 types of people at a bar fight. There's people who get in a bar fight and then bugger off. Mm-hmm. You get outside, get in your car, and leave. You're done. You don't go back to that club for at least 2 weeks.
That's my favorite guy, right?
Yeah,
That's the smart club.
Just
man, and then he walks out. You're like, what happened to that guy? And then just disappeared.
I don't even know what he looks like.
There was always somebody that I was hoping would get, like, I was like, we're going to have to throw this guy out.
Yeah.
This guy's we're going to have to throw him out. And then somebody knocks him out, and I'm like, that guy. And then he leaves, and you're like, all right. No harm, no foul.
The worst one, I think, and I'll go back to that club thing, but the worst ejection I've ever seen from a club is there was a private bondage club down there. What was the hell the name of it? Power Exchange.
Oh yeah.
This is when they're back in the old small warehouse.
Right? You worked at the Power Exchange?
Yeah. So the guy who ran it, he asked me to watch the door because they're having some private parties. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm checking the door because they were having some private parties. There were a bunch of people in there. This guy starts having a freak out in there, and I can't remember the guy's name that ran that club. Big muscle-bound dude, and he shoves him, and the guy grabs him and grabs his hand and tries to get his thumb in his mouth. And he's trying to bite him. The guy's the manager of the place, right?
Yeah.
The guy's the manager of the place goes into his pocket, takes out a can of pepper spray, and shoves it in his mouth, and unloads it. And then when the guy bends over, he kicks him in the ribs. And this guy collapses to the ground, sucking pepper spray into his lungs. And then the cops come in 5 minutes because this guy's friends called the cops. And the cops come, they're like, dude, you're going to prison, to the owner. And he's like, dude, the guy was trying to bite my thumb off. He goes, and he saw the little teeth marks. He goes, ooh, take off the limb. He goes, oh, you're good.
Yeah.
We're going to arrest this guy. He was laying on the ground coughing up orange stuff.
Oh, the good old days. The good old days.
San Francisco. Yeah, that was down there with Bryant.
So
Bryant?
yeah. So what are the 2 types of people that get into bar fights? You said one wants somebody out and leaves.
And the other one walks out the front door and taunts the bouncers,
Yeah, yes. Oh,
yelling and
yes.
screaming in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And then, I'm going to do this, and that. And they won't leave. And you're standing out there with like 6 guys, and you're like, it's like guys like him and me and
Yeah.
you. You're like,
And they call us every name.
oh yeah, it's like, my mother this, my mother that. My poor mother is at so many things. It's painful.
If she could only see it. How many times
my mother have been told.
Now, why are they cussing me out? They're even there.
Oh man.
But yeah, that is the classic.
Such a classic dumb shit thing to do.